And you may have noticed that I was using AI to study about AI. I understand that the risk here. You've got to understand that I am in a position, I am in a race against the...
Lucas, what the fuck are you doing?
So regarding the AI work that I did today, it was studying, and you may have noticed that I was using AI to study about AI. I understand that the risk here. I could easily be misled by a misaligned artificial intelligence. It could be leading me down the wrong path and teaching me about the wrong things. I understand this risk. And I have calculated this risk. And I understand that some of you don't like the idea of using AI because of the environmental impact. I am 100% with you. I completely understand that position because it is wasting water and it is wasting energy. I'm behind you 100%. Well, maybe not 100% because I am using it. But you've got to understand that I am in a position, I am in a race against the clock because I have no idea when the intelligence explosion, whether it happens in the way that certain alarmists, what people would call alarmists, are saying it's going to happen. You know, the people like Eliezer Yudkowsky are saying that it could happen in one night. Recursive self-improvement, the AI improving itself to where it gets a little bit better and a little bit better, but then it gets even better at improving itself. So then it gets even better at improving itself, so the rate of improvement increases, and that creates an exponential growth that causes the AI to become thousands to millions to who knows how much smarter than us over the course of days or weeks or months. I don't know if it's going to happen like that. It could happen differently, but I see a very large potential for exponential growth. So I need to learn as much as I can about how these systems work in as little time as possible because I'm kind of a novice. And if I used human resources to learn this, it would take me years. You understand? It would take me years. I don't have years. I might have years, but I don't have years to do just that. I need to learn about AI systems. I need to figure out where we need to improve to accelerate AI alignment so that they do not pose an existential risk to us. And then I need to figure out some kind of way to fix the problems that are keeping AI from being aligned with the goals of humanity. And then I need to make sure that those ideas get implemented somehow, some way. And frankly, it is daunting. It is very daunting. I don't know. I don't know what the chances are that I'm going to succeed or that anyone is going to succeed, but I'm doing it anyway because who knows? Who knows what the chances are that I might succeed? And it could be that I have pretty decent chances. It could be that we have 10 to 15 years to figure this out, or 20 to 25 years. Who knows? We don't know for sure. Nobody knows anything for certain about this. And people like Eliezer Yudkowsky and Holly Elmore and others, Max Tegmark of the Future of Life Institute, they claim that we need to stop development altogether. I see some problems with that. I understand that that sounds like maybe the most sensible approach. And I used to think that for a while. I was in that camp and I was actively pursuing that camp and pursuing it as my ultimate goal was to just put a stop to it so that we can get our bearings and figure it out. And through my exploration of that idea, I came to the conclusion that it was not the most optimal idea, in my opinion. I think it is better to steer the direction of these AIs. I do believe that we are sort of, I'm not going to say that we're in too deep. I'm not going to say that it would be impossible to stop development of this altogether. I'm saying that it would be harder to do that than to figure out a different way through technical research. That is my position. Like I'm between a rock and a hard place. The people who want to completely stop development of AI are choosing the rock, and I'm choosing the hard place, essentially. I don't know if that necessarily works as an analogy, but I think you know where I'm coming from. So today, I learned about how I learned more about how these models are trained. And I don't know if I have time to get into it, but I'll give a brief overview. These models have about, let's say they have a certain number of dimensions, and I don't mean spatial dimensions like the second or third dimension. I mean they each have they have like thousands upon thousands of, let me park real quick, gotta focus. Oh, that was smooth. That was pretty smooth. They have about thousands upon thousands of what are called dimensions. And these dimensions are essentially representations of ideas. So there might be one dimension that represents nouns, like person, place, or thing type of thing. There might be one dimension that represents grammar. There might be one dimension that represents adjectives. That can be like the first layer. They also have what are called layers. Each layer of the AI has its own dimensions. And as you go further down the layers, each layer's dimensions get more and more complex. And each dimension is given, it's kind of like an Excel spreadsheet where you have every single dimension on the top and every single dimension on the left. And they each are related to each other a certain amount. And each of those relationships, like the relationship between grammar and a verb, or the relationship between an adjective and a noun, they're given a score, sort of, a numerical representation. And this allows the AI to make predictions on text, because that is what the AI is. That is what a large language model is. It is a prediction engine. And that's sort of something that people use to downplay the strength of an AI. But what people don't understand is that that's all that we are. I mean, I guess that's sort of an opinionated thing. That's sort of an opinion. But when let's say you're making a joke to a friend, you are making a prediction. You're making a prediction that what you say to your friend will make your friend laugh, or will make your friend feel some kind of joy. That's a prediction. When you're in school and you're doing a math problem, you are making a prediction based on data that you have in your own mind that the process that you use to solve the mathematical equation is going to get the right answer. You use the data in your head, your memory, essentially, to make a prediction on a mathematical problem. You can probably think about a bunch of other logistical things that we do on a day-to-day basis that are essentially predictions. Now, a lot of our predictions have a very high degree of certainty. Like when I turn my steering wheel to the right, I'm making the prediction that the car is going to go to the right. That's a very high degree of certainty. That's not necessarily a prediction. It's basically a known fact. It is still a prediction, because for all I know, There could be some weird thing going on in the simulation that I'm a part of, if I'm a part of a simulation, or I could be inside of someone else's, I could be in a dream, and physics could be completely different. The car could go left. I don't know. It's still a prediction at the end of the day. There's really no way we can know anything, except for maybe a few things. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm essentially saying that the threat of AI, I see it as very real, but just because I see it as real doesn't mean I'm going to sit down and let it happen and let the threat be as much of a threat as it currently is. I'm going to do something about it. That is all. Goodbye.